Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fit Vegan podcast. We have a special guest today. We have Maresa Schneider, who completed the Fit Vegan Blueprint. She lost a whopping 21 pounds and ended by eating 1,950 calories to maintain her new body. All right, Maresa, how are you doing today?
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm doing really good, feeling good, feeling like a fit vegan.
Awesome. So if you mind me asking, let's just to give people an idea of like who you are, where you were before you started, like what do you do? What do you do for work? Just be
Okay.
honest, like in terms of like stress levels, obligation and all that.
Okay, yeah. So I'm 33. I'm living in Germany, Berlin, and I'm a judge. So yes, you can be a judge in Germany at 33. I know that might sound kind of weird to common law countries, but so yes, I'm a full-time judge. So I think I've got a workload of about 60 hours per week, approximately. So yeah, and yeah, I started the Fit Vegan program because I just was stuck in my weight losing journey. So I just couldn't get rid of the final 5 to 10 kilos.
And so one question I want to ask is, how did you come to veganism, to like plant-based living? How long ago was that you transitioned?
I think it's pretty much 2 years now. And I transitioned. First, I was vegetarian, just because of the animals, honestly, because I couldn't. I just couldn't stand eating meat. And then my wife stumbled about the How Not to Die. So now, not How Not to Diet from Dr. Greger. I think a lot of the listeners might know that, but How Not to Die. So that's his first book, and that is more on health issues. So what health conditions you could basically reverse by eating only plant-based. And then we dived into that and watched Forks Over Knives, Game Changers, all that kind of stuff. And then it really didn't take long. Also from the animal savior point of view, that milk is maybe even more cruel than meat when you think about it. So it was both health reasons and moral reasons.
Yeah, and that's it. I think it's the path you've gone on to transition is what like a lot of people are finding nowadays, is they get a glimpse of what it's like in terms of like from the health perspective or animal cruelty, and then like, ooh, if I'm only discovering this, like what's more behind that, right? And then you start watching documentaries, reading more books, and you're like, well, it's done. I'm vegan now. There's no way I'm going back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that was that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, in Berlin, it's not that difficult. So we're living in a neighborhood where you can have everything vegan. So my gym is fully vegan. So they're only vegans. It's a vegan gym. So
nice.
It's
I wish we had that here. Only vegan. Yeah. I'll have to start one. Only
it's
vegan gym.
Cool whenever you want to have a protein shake, or you just don't have to think.
Yeah, you don't need to read the label. You don't need to worry about it. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely need to start one of those here in Vancouver. So I wanted to bring you on the podcast, like obviously because you completed the program, but I think a lot of people will be able to relate to your story, right? In where you were when you started, in terms of physically, from a mindset perspective, right? Because do you mind sharing with me like kind of what your mindset was when we first started talking, in terms of like what was achievable and what wasn't?
No, of course. So when I started back in my early 20s, I was severely overweight. So I was around 100 kilos. And then I lost 25 kilos and another 15 kilos. So I lost 40 kilos as a whole with going low carb. And then I get stuck, and then I started to be vegetarian, and the last 10 kilos just wouldn't drop, and I didn't know what to do. And I thought I knew a lot about training. I thought I knew a lot about healthy eating, and I basically just thought, okay, maybe my body is just, I'm just 60, 62, 64. It's just my weight. It's just what it is. So it will never go below. And then I found you on Instagram basically, and I really liked your content because it wasn't all about looking a certain way. It was more like a healthy way of life. So that's what took me on. And then I realized during the program that I didn't know as much as I thought. So I learned a lot. And we talked about that. I had a lot of limiting beliefs around my weight and also my sports performance. And the program helped a lot. So I know there's much more achievable than I ever would have thought there was.
Yeah, because you're really lean right now too. You're really lean. You're eating a lot of food, and so the thing is, you're a runner as well.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember your kind of your times before the program?
So for me, I'm sorry, it's Germany. It's minute per kilometer. So so I guess for you.
Oh, that's what we use in Canada too.
Oh, okay. So
minutes per kilometer, yeah.
I'm 1 minute faster per kilometer right now than I was when I started the road. So yeah, and my focus during the program wasn't running. So I was running twice a week, doing strength training 3 to 4 times a week. So it just happened. I didn't do anything for it. I wasn't training for a marathon or something. I just got that much faster.
We'll take the extra speed. Yeah. Well, one of the things is obviously like we decreased your weight, right, by decreasing your body fat, so you're lighter. And now because we've done reverse dieting properly, you're eating 1,950 calories, which is giving you a lot of energy to be able to run faster for longer.
Yeah, and it's 300, I would say 300 calories more per day than I was eating with my starting weight. So I was eating around 1,600 when we started.
Yeah, so you're eating more food now, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I kind of want to dive into that because a lot of people put a lot of emphasis on the fat loss, right? And when I told you, I'm like, hey, we're going to do the fat loss, but we're also going to do like an additional phase after of re-increasing your food. Like, do you mind, can you, because obviously I can explain it to people, but like as the coach, you're like, he's a coach, it sounds easy for him. But like, I just want to hear from your perspective, like, how did you find that phase of like re-increasing your food back up to 1950?
I think that was the magic key, I would say, because I was dieting a lot of times in my life, and I always just stopped at one point. And would I have stopped at 1,000 calories, which I was eating when we stopped the dieting process, then I just would have gained everything back, or I would have had to stay at that low calories because obviously my metabolism had slowed down. And now, really, I don't know if it was ever so on fire as it is now. So it just takes time. It just takes time for your body to adapt. And I'm so glad that I did the re-dieting, because
reverse dieting, yeah.
Reverse dieting, because I would, like I said, I was eating less with nearly 10 kilos more weight and couldn't lose any weight. And now it's just really, when I'm last week I had 2 days really stressful at work, and I was eating a bit under my maintenance calories now, and I just dropped half a kilo, and I don't want to drop anymore. So really, I thought, oh shit, okay, I have to eat. I have to eat more actually.
Yeah, which
So
is a good problem to have.
yeah, and I was a chubby kid, and I never had that problem in my life. Really, I was always doing sports, but up until now, I was never so lean.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you went through it, and now that's why I included a part of the Fit Vegan Blueprint. Like, I make everyone go through it for that reason, so people can end up in your position, right? Because now you saw how easy it was for you to lose weight if you just underate for 2 days for a tiny bit,
Yeah,
your weight drop, right?
yeah,
That's where we want your metabolism to be.
yeah,
So now the
absolutely.
fun part is like, hey, you have to eat all this food to maintain your weight,
Yeah.
so, which is a good problem.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good problem. Yeah, and it's just I also what I would like to share is I also realized that I just stopped craving food. That was also always I was always an emotional eater. So I was always like, oh, I need to have ice cream, or I need to have chocolate after a stressful day. And of course, something I want to have something sweet, but now I'm just having a banana with a date and peanut butter or something, and I really enjoy that. So that's really what my body wants to eat, and that's amazing. I'm just craving healthy food when I'm craving it all.
Yeah, so your taste buds change, right? As you progress. And one of the things is obviously like you ate whole foods the whole time on the program.
Yeah, of
There,
course.
there was no fake meat, fake cheese, or anything like that, um, which could play with your taste buds, right? Because it's a little bit more salty foods, which would
Yeah,
affect your taste bud. Because we did whole foods, like a date does taste better, a banana does taste better.
yeah. And I honestly, yeah, it does. I just today, so for lunch, I had one recipe from your program, so sweet potato cauliflower curry something.
Mm-hmm.
I doubled the size. so that, but for dinner, I just had ravioli with my wife, but they were so still healthy from a bio, I don't know, some vegan, so freshly cooked from someone else, but still out of the freezer,
Mm-hmm.
and it just didn't do it for me anymore. It wasn't just, it didn't taste so healthy, didn't taste so fresh. So yeah, and I
Yeah.
love it. I love that. I love that I'm really enjoying this healthy food.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so happy for you. I'm super proud of you. I know we had a lot of conversations throughout the program, but like from like seeing from where our first conversations to like now chatting with you, right? Because you've been out of program you've been done for a month now, or slightly right out for a month, and you're still the same weight, which is one good thing, right? You're
Yeah.
still eating all this food. But yeah, I'm super happy for you.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm super grateful, and I'm super happy that I did it. Really.
Yeah. And which kind of brings me to like one of my next point is some people are worried about online coaching, right? Because it's different than like going to see a trainer in the gym, right?
Yeah.
And what made you want to give online coaching a try? Or did you ever even try it before? Or is this like the
Mm,
first time?
no, it was my first time that I ever did. So I had a coach at the gym once, but only for making me a training program or something like. So no, not that amount of coaching. I never did that
So
before.
so what made you want to give like online coaching a try?
I just honestly, I just like your content on Instagram so much. So I was kind of searching for someone to show me how I could make it work. So how I could get leaner and fitter and more healthy. And but I didn't like all the. I mean, there are lots of personal trainers on the internet. There are lots of
Yeah.
vegan trainers now, but like I said, it's all, to me it was also superficial, all about the looks, all about getting into shape for summer, getting into shape for whatever, getting into, and I didn't want to get into shape. I wanted to get healthy and enjoy myself and stop under eating and yes, smashing my metabolism and just being in this vicious circle and not being able to take a step out of it. And I just identified with your profile, and then we had our first chat, and it just clicked for me. So
Yeah, you just knew. Awesome. Do you mind moving you moved your phone and it kind of like reduced your audio?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Or your computer. Okay, should be better. Yeah, because my sound set. Okay, that's all right. We'll figure it out. Awesome. No, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. And it's just like, yeah, a lot of people are like, how is this going to work online? Am I going to have enough support, accountability, or is it just going to be a plan?
No, I can go into that, of course. So obviously, so you're always, so for me, it's, or for us, maybe it was even especially difficult because obviously I'm in Germany, so we have the time difference. So we're 9 hours apart, I guess. So
Yeah.
for me, it's evening now, for you, it's in the morning.
Yeah.
But that was never a problem. So you're working with your app, with this Fit Vegan app. Everything's in the app, so the meal plan, the training plan, and you always answered in between, I don't know, maybe just a few hours whenever I had a question, and whenever it was something we had to talk through, which couldn't just be said in one message, then we jumped on a call, and yeah, you were always there and always reachable and always supportive. And yeah, also, I mean, when I was down with my motivation, somehow you just always were listening, and I felt always better when we talked.
Thank you. Yeah, that's one of the things like I want people to know is if I needed to jump on a call with you like that day, I would. Because support, that's what, like I think I told you at the start, like mindset is what's going to make the biggest difference, and that all comes down to, a huge chunk of it comes down to support, right?
Yeah.
And like your mindset coming in compared to now, way different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So just for the people that are going to be listening after, I'm curious as well, like what would you say were your 3 biggest takeaways from the whole experience?
Okay. Definitely for me, it was to learn to trust the process, because I don't know, maybe it comes from the job, I don't know, but I'm very goal fixated, and I'm very controlling type of person. So for me, it was a big win to just give some of the control to you and just follow your lead, or follow the plans you gave to me, and then just trust the process, that what you always told me, and it just worked. So yeah, be patient, trust the process, and then we'll all work out. And definitely what we talked about with the limiting beliefs, that way more is possible than you or me or whoever wants to start his fit or her fit vegan journey, that there's much more possible and achievable than one might think if you have the right support. So yeah, and that it's worth to reach out. So I'm also a person who tries to, first of all, tries to solve problems by myself, because I don't know, I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to, maybe I'm a bit scared to put myself out there and then get disappointed or something, but I'm so glad that I reached out this time. Yeah, I guess that's my 3 biggest wins, and that's also, so that doesn't or didn't end when the program ended. So, with my running and with just limiting beliefs and reaching out, I take that with me in different areas in my life.
Yeah, those are huge takeaways.
Yeah, definitely.
Those are game changers.
Yeah,
It takes years sometimes for people to realize that.
yeah,
Right? We only know what we know. So when we're trying to do something that we know nothing about, right? We're trying to tap into the unknown, which we don't know about, which makes it harder to get it done. So it's great to be able to outsource that aspect, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because like, as you said, when you came in, you had a lot of knowledge about nutrition and fitness, but there's so many little nuances in different situations that can arise that you're like, ooh, how do I deal with that one? But then
exactly. And you always feel like now I have to readjust, and you can just outsource that one. You can just say, no, I don't. Maybe Lucky can readjust something, or maybe it just when he says it doesn't has to be readjusted. So,
yeah,
but I just have to keep trusting the process. Then you can just do that, and that's great. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
It saves a lot of energy.
yeah, a lot of stress, a lot of like mental space, and because I've been doing this for long enough now that I've pretty much dealt with the majority of the situations that can arise. And sometimes we need to address them. And like sometimes, like I was just telling you, like just trust the process. It's gonna go back to normal. It's gonna regulate itself.
Yeah, then that for me it was exactly what I needed. Just someone to turn to, taking that stress or maybe anxiety about that I had developed around weight,
Mhm.
some kind of anxiety about gaining and losing and gaining and losing and never finding my way through all of it and all the recommendations. Yeah, that was just great to have someone to turn to and to know that there I get good advice.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm really happy we connected.
Yeah, me too.
I'm grateful that we were a part of each other's journey.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Really, I would recommend to even to people who would just want to not even maybe just maintain their weight but get fitter. It's even that it's worth it. Or
Yeah.
to get a better idea about what your body needs nutrition wise. So I think for me it's not only losing weight, it's a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah, which kind of it's funny because I wanted to ask you a question. Like, if you had the opportunity to talk to Marisa 7 months ago, right? Then when you're on the verge of doing or not doing the program, like what is something that you would tell her?
Yeah, I would tell her just dive in, do it. Yeah, definitely. I would just tell her just stop the overthinking. Also, something I like to do a lot, and and uh, and do it. Really, I don't regret anything in this whole process, the whole process. So not only obviously I don't regret losing 21 pounds, no, and also not being able to run a lot faster, but the whole process was worthy because I learned a lot on every step. So
Yeah.
yeah, I would just tell her, go girl.
Good, good. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah,
That's
thanks for
awesome. And
having
you
me.
did it, and you took action. And during the hardest time of like probably the past 10 years, right? You took action and you made a big difference, right? Because you mentioned you've tried losing weight before, and there's all these like let's say fads diet, right? As you saw, like we don't really do a diet. It's more like lifestyle, eating whole foods, focusing on the mindset aspect. It's not something that you necessarily want to stop after you're done.
No, absolutely. And that's maybe I should add that. So I was saying I lost I lost a lot of weight with low carb. So it works for losing weight, obviously, but it's not a life that I want to live. So
That's the thing, is when you're done, you're like, I want carbs. Like, did you eat high carbs the whole time you were on the program?
yes,
You
definitely.
know, a lot of carbs.
And like I said, I know after the program, I enjoy everything what I eat, and I really I love eating. I love trying new things. I love having good coffee, and I love having good food, and I can have that now. And with low carb, it was just frustrating, you know, when
Yeah.
you're somebody who just likes eating a lot and eating good food, and then you should live on low carb for the rest of your life. That's kind of depressing.
Yep. I've tried it. It's depressing too. I think everyone tried it at one point. It works, but it's miserable. So if you don't stick with it, then the weight comes
Exactly.
back on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just before we wrap it up, I would invite you to, if there's anything else that you want to add or share with anybody that's going to be listening, because I know a lot of the listeners, because I see the statistics, are people that are in the program, right? Some
Yeah.
people that started have been with me for 6 months, 9 months, and a lot of new people that are considering joining. So what's like a one piece of advice that you'd want to give them?
Yeah, I guess I can just for people who are still thinking about joining, I would just say just do it. There's nothing you just can't lose anything. So that if nothing bad is going to happen, it can only get better. So just do it. And for people still in it, maybe just that every phase that's a bit harder, or when the motivation is low because your calories are low when you're in the final phase. So just push through because it's worth it. And maybe I should also say that you or there's now a really great community. So it's not only, maybe that's important. Maybe we should share that so, for a lot of people, because it's not that that you are always available. It's also that the other fit vegans are always available in the app. So there's a group chat, and the members are sharing their wins and motivating each other. So you also get part of a cool, fit, and healthy community where everyone is trying to reach their goals. So that's also something great.
Yeah, that is another part. People are very supportive, and I think now there's members from, I think, 15 different countries
Yeah.
in the group. So it's different time zones. Yeah, it's really people looking to lose from like 5 pounds to 200 pounds. So there's a lot of great community of people supporting each other. Yeah, that is a great point. We didn't touch on that, but that is a great point. So Maresa, thank you very much for jumping on the podcast. I really appreciate you taking the time, because I know it's the evening time for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad I was able to share that.
Yeah, welcome. And for anyone that's listening after, if you're interested in having some more information, just want to have a conversation with me, you can obviously head over to my Instagram, send me a private message, or you can head over at callwithlucky.com and you can book your free fitness audit with our goal setting coach. Just have a little conversation with you to see what your game plan is going to look like for your journey. Thank you for listening, guys, and I'll see you next week.